Can Trump undo any of Biden's pardons? Here's what we know. There are a couple of ways to avoid a pardon taking effect. The first is a reversal, if the president takes back the pardon. That can only happen, though, if the recipient hasn't been formally notified, which happens when the pardon is physically or electronically delivered. Once the pardon is delivered and accepted, it's finalized. Can't be reversed. So why would a president want to revoke a pardon? George W. Bush issued a pardon and revoked it a day later in 2008, after he found out that the father of the recipient had donated a lot of money to the Republican Party. So yeah, Trump could decide to revoke any of the 1,500 pardons he handed out to January 6 attackers, as long as it hadn't been delivered yet. The thing is, it's likely that most of those pardons have been delivered. We know, for example, that the Bureau of Prisons was notified because they said they released 211 January 6 attackers. And the recipient can't be forced to accept it either. One January 6 rioter is turning down a pardon from Donald Trump, saying that none of those people should be pardoned.
This is an admission of guilt by Joe Biden. Everybody in America knows it. We said early on in the investigation, I went on your show many times, Maria, and you were one of the heroes that allowed me to have a platform to give the American people the truth, that 10 different Biden family members were involved in receiving incremental payments that had been laundered through a series of shell companies.
And guys, thank you so much for hitting the like button and subscribing. I appreciate you guys. Let's jump in. The Democratic Party and its elites are now turning on each other. Former President Barack Obama was spotted in D.C. alone again, with many asking, where is Michelle Obama? Former President Joe Biden's pardons for his family may be reversed, with one top Republican saying that the courts won't honor them. And multiple state government officials are getting arrested. Now, I actually have the body cam footage for one of them. Now, we got a lot of trouble that's going on from the left, so let's go ahead and start with the Biden family. So former President Joe Biden, he pardoned his family 20 minutes before Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. His allies within the party are saying that this was for good reason, because they were expecting President Trump to retaliate after Biden himself used the justice system to go after his political rival. We also cannot forget about the fact that he pardoned the likes of Liz Cheney, Dr. Anthony Fauci, former Joint Chief of Staff Mark Milley. And so here's what the former president said in a statement regarding these pardons. These public servants have served our nation with honor and distinction and do not deserve to be targets of unjustified and politically motivated prosecutions. Representative James Comer, though, he believes that these pardons should not be honored, especially if we're talking about the Biden crime family.
There were 4 different agencies investigating the Bidens: the IRS, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the Securities and Exchange Commission. And obviously they wanted to get to Joe Biden because none of this money would be coming into the president's son or brother were it not for Joe Biden. Every time they got ready to ask Joe Biden, they were told to stand down by a deep state actor. I want those people held accountable. And then with respect to the Bidens, I don't think these preemptive pardons would hold up in court. I would like to see a jury that would be sympathetic to what he said. We're pardoning you for anything you may have done over the past decade pertaining to influence peddling. That's baloney, and no jury in America would buy that, in my opinion.
So you think the preemptive pardons are not legitimate?
I don't, but there are a lot better legal minds than mine, I'm sure. But, you know, I don't think the average person that works hard and pays taxes has much sympathy for a president that in his last act in office pardoned his entire family for financial public corruption and didn't have the guts to tell anybody why he did it.
Now, we all have to admit that during his final months, Joe Biden did not do himself any favors in terms of his legacy. He essentially handicapped Kamala Harris's presidential campaign, and he put his own party in ruins. It's also the reason why the party is in disarray right now. Now, just imagine a movie where the hero is like walking away from an explosion. But of course, Joe Biden's no hero. And even former Democratic donors are saying that things are really bad right now. Now, we have to emphasize that there are probably a lot of former Democratic donors within this party. This is because they all saw how their top officials use their money.
Well, I mean, the left-wing media, the mainstream media is in a tizzy. I think they only could get so much out of the Elon Musk Nazi salute falsehood. And they don't know what to do. I mean, we see the party turning on itself. Chuck Schumer's statement that this was all Biden and it was all Biden's fault. I mean, Biden is a geriatric patient at this point. He's been managed by handlers. He could barely get through a press conference, let alone a full day of presidential activity. Chuck Schumer, that's completely false. You know exactly who's been handling Biden. You've been involved with it, as has Nancy Pelosi. They've been running the show. And in their embarrassment and in true lame old Democratic Party outrageous fashion, they point fingers at each other when things don't turn out their way.
Kamala Harris.
And the donors are upset. Yeah,
I mean, I would be upset if I were a donor, too. They just lit your money on fire and then told you too bad. Give me some more money.
Now, think about this for a second, guys. When was the last time that you thought about leadership within the Democratic Party? Because as far as we can see, they're a party that has no definitive leader, meaning that they don't even know who they can pinpoint the blame onto at this stage of the game. And this brings me to former President Barack Obama. He was recently seen in a very classy new restaurant in Washington, D.C. And since he's Barack Obama, he got the usual cheers and applaud from people inside the establishment. But something was a little off here. Barack Obama was again without the former First Lady Michelle Obama. So we didn't see her at the Jimmy Carter funeral. She refused to show up for President Trump's inauguration, but a visit to a ritzy restaurant and still Michelle Obama is a no-show? That's not the optics that they want to be sending out right now, is it? But here's where things get even weirder. You might remember that the former president was linked to Jennifer Aniston last year. Although she's remained mostly silent, she did address it after guesting on Jimmy Kimmel's late night show, saying that she knows Michelle more than she does Barack. So I guess it's mostly rumors that aren't being helped with the multiple times that we've seen the former president alone. Anyway, moving on, the Democratic Party just cannot catch a break here since we're seeing reports of officials being arrested, one of which is longtime state senator Regina Goodwin. So Goodwin is a Democrat from Tulsa, and she was recently pulled over for failing to stop at 2 stop signs. Watch this.
You're not going to arrest me when I did not. I stopped the stop sign, and you have the audacity. You're going to arrest me?
New at 5, this is body cam video showing an argument between a Tulsa County deputy and a Tulsa area state senator after the deputy told her she ran 2 stop signs in downtown Tulsa.
You can see the deputy eventually put State Senator Regina Goodwin in handcuffs for not showing her ID, and now it looks like she plans on fighting the traffic ticket she got out of this in court. Fox 23's Devin Lyon is live in studio breaking down what that body camera video captured.
Yeah, Senator Goodwin did get a ticket, but in the video, the deputy says he would have let her go with a warning had she not argued with him so much. In the video, you see exactly what happened when the deputy pulled her over, but what you don't see is if she did or did not run that stop sign.
Ma'am, I'm not going to ask you again. Can I get your driver's license? Or can I take you to jail on running a stop sign? I'm not going to ask you again. It's not for debate.
Are you saying you're going to take me to jail?
The argument between Oklahoma Senator Regina Goodwin and Tulsa County Deputy Freddie Alaniz started with a traffic stop in downtown Tulsa near Archer and MLK Boulevard. In this body cam video, the deputy claims Goodwin ran 2 stop signs. When he got out of his car, Goodwin is already standing outside of her vehicle.
I was behind you, ma'am. You didn't even come to a complete stop.
After the deputy asked Goodwin more than a dozen times for her driver's license, and she doesn't comply, the deputy places her into handcuffs.
I need your driver's license.
Do what you got to do.
Okay, turn around.
You say you're going to arrest me.
Yep, turn around.
Okay. Okay, you're going to arrest me, and I did not run a stop sign. Okay.
Relax for me.
Okay.
Relax.
All right.
Relax.
Okay.
Relax your hands.
I am relaxed.
Yeah, relax them.
Goodwin's attorney happened to be there at the traffic stop. After the deputy lets Goodwin out of the handcuffs, Tulsa City Councilor Laura Bellis shows up, and so does Tulsa Mayor Monroe Nichols.
So she got caught with a traffic violation, and her attorney, the city councilor, and even the mayor shows up. I don't know about you guys, but this sounds like a show of force. Clearly someone who feels like they're above the law, kind of like their way of intimidating the deputy. Although the mayor said that they merely showed up to check on their former colleague. Y'all buying that crap? Goodwin was handed a ticket for $249 and had only one thing to say to a reporter who asked about it. The issue will be handled in court. Yeah, I'm sure it will. And it's not over with these state senators. Georgia State Senator Colton Moore was recently arrested. So Moore is a Republican from Trenton who has been banned from the state House chamber. He tried to enter for the governor's State of the Speech and promptly got into a shoving match with House employees. Moore was already banned last year for calling the late David Ralston as one of the most corrupt Georgia leaders. Moore was also kicked out of the state's Senate Republican caucus in the late 2023 for refusing to act against Georgia DA Fani Willis. Willis, as we remember, became infamous for having an affair with one of her top prosecutors. Oh yeah, the dirt just keeps us slinging. And since we're talking about secrets that are finally out in the open, I want you guys to check out a previous video that I did. I talked about the Trump administration's plans to divulge government secrets that many of us have been asking for decades. I mean, some are dating back to more than 60 years ago. Anyway, make sure you guys check that out. As always, thanks so much for hitting the like button and sharing this video. We'll see you guys next time.